and actually going through what you and the rest of the family have gone through.
I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain, and you know that in your life it's going to be very difficult to.
There are moments in royal history that appear calm on the surface, but carry enormous weight beneath. No grand announcement, no formal ceremony, no dramatic confrontation, just the quiet transfer of power from one generation to the next. And with it, a message that certain people in certain circles understood immediately. That moment came when Prince William assumed control of one of the most storied and valuable private estates in the entire world. And the ripple effects of that moment are still being felt today, particularly within the family of Queen Camilla. To understand the full picture, we have to go back to September 8th, 2022. Queen Elizabeth II passed away at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, ending a reign that had stretched across 7 decades. Her death set in motion a series of legal, financial, and institutional changes that moved with striking speed. Titles shifted, responsibilities transferred, wealth and property changed hands in ways that had been legally predetermined for centuries. For Prince William, then 40 years old, the transformation was immediate and staggering in scale. The moment his father was proclaimed King Charles III, William automatically became the Duke of Cornwall. This was not a ceremonial gesture or a symbolic honor. It was a transfer of genuine, functioning economic power. The Duchy of Cornwall, one of the most significant private estates anywhere on the planet, passed directly into his hands. Valued at approximately $1.2 billion, the duchy encompasses around 135,000 acres of land spread across England. It includes nearly 19,000 acres in Cornwall itself, almost the entirety of the Isles of Scilly off the Cornish coast, a substantial portion of Dartmoor in Devon, and large landholdings in Herefordshire and Somerset. Beyond the raw acreage, the duchy includes hundreds of individual properties, farms, rural estates, holiday cottages, and commercial investments that have been accumulating value and history for nearly 7 centuries. The origins of the duchy stretch back to 1337, when King Edward III created it specifically for his eldest son, Edward of Woodstock, better known to history as the Black Prince. The founding charter established a principle that has held ever since. The duchy belongs to the monarch's eldest son and heir to the throne. It was designed to provide financial independence and preparation for future kingship. Nearly 700 years later, that same institution now belongs to Prince William. The income generated by the duchy is substantial. In 2025, William earned approximately $30 million from the estate, derived from tenant farmers, holiday rental properties, commercial leases, financial investments, and various rights and privileges accumulated over generations. Unlike most private landowners of comparable wealth, William voluntarily pays income tax on these earnings, even though the duchy itself is legally exempt from corporation tax. This voluntary contribution is a long-standing tradition that the royal family maintains to demonstrate a degree of public accountability. But the story of what William inherited goes beyond even the duchy. To fully appreciate the scope of what is now in his hands and what will come to him in the future, it is worth examining the broader landscape of royal property. When Queen Elizabeth II died, 2 properties in particular drew significant attention. Sandringham House in Norfolk and Balmoral Castle in Scotland are unique within the royal portfolio because they are not owned by the state, the crown, or any government institution. They were the personal private property of Queen Elizabeth II, inherited from her father, King George VI. Sandringham is a sprawling country estate in Norfolk that has served as the royal family's Christmas gathering place for generations. It is a working estate, focused on land management and conservation, and it carries enormous sentimental significance for the royal family. Balmoral, situated in the Scottish Highlands, and covering over 53,000 acres of some of Britain's most dramatic landscape, was originally purchased by Prince Albert for Queen Victoria in the 19th century. It has remained in the personal ownership of successive monarchs ever since. Both of these estates passed directly to King Charles III upon his mother's death. They are now his private property, managed according to his personal wishes, not subject to parliamentary oversight or public accountability in the way crown properties are. Charles and Queen Camilla use them as private retreats, and the management of those estates falls entirely within their personal domain. However, the critical point, the point that carries enormous significance for the future, is that when King Charles III eventually dies, both Sandringham and Balmoral will pass to Prince William as the new monarch. They will not go to Camilla. They will not be divided among the royal household. They will transfer to William in the same way they transferred from Elizabeth to Charles. And William is already quietly and methodically demonstrating exactly what kind of owner he intends to be. This brings us to Annabel Elliot and the decision that sent shockwaves through Camilla's inner circle. Annabel Elliot is Queen Camilla's younger sister. She is a highly regarded interior designer, known professionally for her ability to blend traditional English country house aesthetics with a sense of modern warmth and livability. She is also, by all accounts, one of the people closest to Camilla personally. The two sisters have maintained a deeply close bond throughout their lives, and when Charles married Camilla in 2005, Annabel naturally became part of the extended royal orbit. Shortly after that marriage, then Prince Charles hired Annabel to work on his estates. It was a logical arrangement on the surface. She was a skilled professional, she was family by marriage, and Charles was known for his personal approach to managing his estates and surrounding himself with people he trusted. Over the following 2 decades, Annabel worked extensively across properties belonging to the Duchy of Cornwall, bringing her design sensibility to holiday cottages in Cornwall, estates in Wales, and properties on the Isles of Scilly. The Duchy's published annual accounts showed her payments varied from year to year, ranging from approximately £19,000 to over £82,000 annually, reflecting the scope of work in any given period. For nearly 20 years, this arrangement continued without significant public attention. It was simply part of how the duchy operated under Charles. Then William took over, and things changed. According to sources who spoke to the Daily Telegraph, Prince William made the decision to remove Annabel Elliot from the duchy payroll. The framing from those familiar with the situation was careful. This was explicitly stated to be no reflection on the quality of her work. But the message was nonetheless unmistakable. When William became Duke of Cornwall, he reviewed the arrangements he had inherited and concluded that the relationship with Annabel Elliot would not continue under his management. She was off the payroll. Royal commentators noted the significance of the move almost immediately. As one royal expert explained, Annabel had been working across duchy properties under Charles, but since William had taken over as Duke of Cornwall, he had removed her from that arrangement, and the decision caused more than a few ripples. A royal source went further, suggesting that William's move was a deliberate signal that he intended to cut away what some described as hangers-on and reduce spending patterns established under his father. At the same time, William moved to bring in people from his own circle of trust, including friends and godparents of his children, Prince George and Prince Louis. The symbolism was sharp and deliberate, out with Camilla's family connections, in with William's trusted network. No press conference, no public statement, no confrontation, just a payroll adjustment and a new direction. To understand why this carries emotional weight beyond its financial significance, it is necessary to step back and consider the history that lies between William and Camilla's family. William grew up watching his mother, Princess Diana, endure what became one of the most publicly documented and painfully private marital breakdowns of the 20th century. The relationship between his father and Camilla Parker Bowles, which Charles himself confirmed in a 1994 television interview, caused Diana immense suffering, and that suffering was something her sons witnessed and absorbed. When Diana died in Paris in August 1997, William was 15 years old and Harry was 12. They lost their mother at an age when they needed her most, and they navigated that loss under the full and merciless glare of global public attention. William has, by all observable measures, made a genuine effort over the years to accept Camilla as part of the family. He attended the wedding in 2005. He has appeared alongside her publicly on numerous occasions without visible hostility. He has not made her position within the family publicly difficult. Whatever private feelings may remain, he has conducted himself with restraint and maturity. But there is an important distinction to be drawn between accepting someone as a family member and accepting their relatives as permanent fixtures in a business operation worth over £1 billion. The Duchy of Cornwall is not a family gathering. It is a major economic institution with responsibilities to tenants, communities, investors, and the public. William is not simply managing an inheritance. He is preparing to be king. And as future king, he is making it clear that the arrangements of his father's era are not automatically his arrangements. The reaction from Camilla's side of the family has reportedly been one of frustration. Annabel Elliot, despite losing her duchy income, reportedly maintains some involvement with the king's Sandringham estate in Norfolk, a connection that exists through Charles rather than through William. But that connection, too, is subject to a future transfer. When Charles dies and William inherits Sandringham, her continued involvement there will depend entirely on William's goodwill. Given what has already happened with the duchy, the signals are not particularly encouraging for those who benefited most from Charles's era of management. The broader financial picture is worth pausing on, because the numbers involved are genuinely remarkable. The royal family's total wealth, encompassing land,